Welcome back. We are here with 1459, last day of the decade. Super exciting. And in the last one, we had Madalena be born and El Rosaria became a vampire because of our new vampire rules. And yeah, I think that's a lot of what happened. So that's where we're at. And this year, I know, I'm scared too. Okay, and we also have to do war rules. So let's start with these and try not to lose our minds. And then we'll go into the war rules. So Emil, who is a vampire, can't roll a 4 or an 18. Go here. Survives. Now we have Thomas and Dante. They can't roll a 7. I mean, knock on wood. A 7 is, it's going to be okay. Oh my God. Okay. Thomas survives. Dante survives. Okay, and then we have to roll for whether or not Dante is going to get married, because of course Thomas is, because Thomas is the heir, but Dante just rolled not to get married. Oh my gosh. 1 through 4 never marry. Oh my gosh, you guys, Dante is not getting married. But he could have children if we wanted him to. He could have up to 9. So, oh boy. Okay, well, that honestly doesn't really change my plans. He's going to be with someone, but he doesn't necessarily have to get married, I guess. We'll see where that goes. Again, I'm going to have them continue to... We're not going to start their romance stuff probably until 1461, because we have a lot going on next year with the new decade. So again, if you have any ideas about like romantic things, specifically including the Goths or the Calientes, who I want to introduce to the social scene during this time. But yeah, if you have any ideas, let me know. I have some ideas, but collaboration is good. So anyway, war rules. In the struggle... I can't read this like this. Okay. In the struggle for power between the rival houses of Lancaster and York, an army of 5,000 Yorkists under the command of the Earl of Salisbury were intercepted whilst marching south to join forces with Duke of York. The newly recruited 10,000-strong Lancastrian force under the command of Lord Audley, is that his name? Advanced, but were decimated as they crossed the marshy ground. On July 10th, 1460, oh, well, that's for next year, but anyway, the Yorkist force under the Kingmaker Earl of Warwick approached the defensive line of encampment of the King Henry VI on the grounds of blah, blah, blah. Despite the large number of forces involved, many soldiers drown. Oh, wow. Okay, so that's why people are going to die next year of drowning, I guess. But for this year, they're going to go away to war. So no 4 or a 6. Let's get our people together. Let's see. What should we start with? I guess, why did I click on that? That is not something that we use. Okay, Windenburg. We'll start with Windenburg. We actually only have one house here. I don't know who those people are. But anyway, the Payne household. We have Frost the Third and Randolph are both involved. I think, yeah, these are all children. Okay. What did I say? No 4 or 6? Okay. Frost. Randolph. Okay, neither of them are going to war. Next, I guess we'll go to well, that's Italy. I guess they're not really involved in this. Let's not worry about them. And then we have Hemford on Bagley. So let's start. Obviously, our mom isn't going to war, and neither is Thomasina because she's a lady. So that brings us to Emil. Oh my gosh, who's going to take care of Emil's kids? Is it going to be us? No 4 or 6. You can do it, Emil. Okay, Emil's not going to make us take care of other children right now. And then we have, I guess, so this is tough because I feel like Cassian, considering Cassian has hunkered down and has cut off Hemford on Bagley and is disobeying the king, like that doesn't make sense for him to be like, oh, I got drafted, I guess I'll go to war. Like that doesn't make sense. So I think we're going to not do him, but we will do Thomas. I know, it kind of all doesn't make sense given what I've spun of the story, but we're just going to accept it. And Thomas also, no one is going to war. Okay, so it doesn't even matter. So no one is going to war. I guess there's that. So, yeah, okay. So I'm just going to put over here, maybe like, copy. Not married, but babies? I don't know. So then Dante, well, let me, hold on. Dante Larkin can have up to 9. Okay, we're going to leave that there. Also, I'm kind of mad that you won't wrap the way I want you to. Okay, so yeah, I'm just going to put that there just in case I forget that he did that number 9. Okay. Whew, everyone survived. Oh my gosh, you have no idea how scared I was that Thomas was going to die. Like, I have literally his whole life planned out. Watch him die with his young adult role, I swear. But anyway, I have his whole life planned out. So that's a no for me on Thomas dying. I will turn him into a vampire, I swear. He is going to live his life. Okay, let's hop into the game. Alrighty, so I just want to preface this this video by saying that I started recording this on patch day, which was my first mistake. And then I was like, I've played with broken mods before, like it can't be that bad that it's going to disrupt my game, and that that wasn't true. I'm obviously delusional sometimes. So yes, the first part of this video will be played for me what was patch day, and then the second part will be played the next day after MCCC came out with their patch fix, because all of the mods that have their own menus stopped working. So like teleport any sim, MCCC, etc. So I was like, I can play without. No, that's not true. That's just not true. Okay, so Thomas is also going through a midlife crisis, and he wants to be fancy. That's basically his midlife crisis is that he wants to be fancy, and so good for him. So he wants to have a gourmet meal, which is he can't even eat, so there's that. But regardless, he wants to have fancy paintings and all that, and it's also New Year's, so we're going to set some resolutions. Most of them are going to be get up a skill level, so we're going to do that, and then we're going to, we're going to do some of Thomas's midlife crisis, but we're not going to focus on it, especially if it's items that we can't do, you know what I mean? So like, things that are too modern, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So yes, anyway, El Rosaria is working on the piano, and she is just, keeping up her skills. She is slowly turning into a vampire. She's not a full vampire yet, but she definitely does not feel very well. Her stomach feels weird, and she is definitely noticing the changes, but she is, going through it. So she is going to just try and do her best to relax and, go through the change nicely. So there's that. No Odelgard, you cannot join the club. So she's going to do that. Also, I was thinking about the successful lineage aspiration that we have been working on with people, and I just really don't think that we're going to be able to do that one, because you have to have your kid get to the top level of a career. And I just don't think we're going to be able to do that with Thomas and El Rosaria. So I'm going to change her aspiration to the good vampire aspiration so that we can do... Okay, well, I'm going to have to fix that outfit, but she is now a vampire. She is now turned into a vampire. So we're going to change her to the good vampire aspiration, and that is because I think that she doesn't really want to be a vampire. She is just doing it for her family, and she is not looking at it as like, oh, I'm going to live forever. Like, I don't think she wants to live forever. I think she wants to just, do the best she can and be good, but, not be in a position where she could harm her family by anybody finding out that they're vampires and all of that stuff. So she is going to do this aspiration, and then that'll wrap us up for all the vampire aspirations, I believe. So we will have completed all the vampire aspirations if Thomas and El Rosaria both complete their aspirations. And also I was thinking about what we would do if, when are we going to do vampire roles? And I think that what we're going to do is, if a vampire sim does not live in Forgotten Hollow, and they have outlived what is a normal lifespan, then they will have to start doing vampire roles to see if they get caught. Because, if you're a young man forever, people are going to start to notice if you're around human people. So that is when we're going to start doing the roles. So maybe, in order to move on to the next generation, I'll have, them retire to Forgotten Hollow or die. We'll see. So, Francesca also wants to, get an A in school. She's doing the Whiz Kid aspiration. She's doing really well on that. She is, an exceptionally smart and talented young lady, and so she's doing great. She is going to do some school projects so she can get her grades up, and we are going to, through the good vampire aspiration, we're going to have to get our vampire lore skill up. So there's that as well, and then she can't drink deeply for 5 days, which is really not going to be a problem considering I cheat their needs anyway. But yes, so we're in good shape. And I did buy her some plasma packs, so that's good as well. And Dante, again, admiring the art, loving the art. I was thinking about trying to do the successful lineage by having one of the kids do like a part-time job or something, but I don't think we're going to do that. We're just going to move on and do the vampire aspirations. Maybe one of the children can do that instead. So here we are, having her drink her plasma pack in front of Tiffany. Like, hey, Tiffany, just drinking some plasma in front of you. No big deal. So yeah, the boys are becoming teenagers tomorrow, so we'll still go through Sunday. So also checking out the different Sims. I think we're going to invite over Emil because we want Tiffany to become friends with 2 adults, and it's not going to be El Rosario. So and so we are going to maybe invite over Emil so that she can chat with him and become friends with him. They're the adults, Emil and Thomasina. She's already friends with Adelaide. That's why I say that. So Emil and Thomasina are kind of the only other adults in their family. So I guess it would make sense for her to be close to them. So let's get him inside, and then we'll have Tiffany become friends with him and all of that. So we're just going to start chatting. And the kids, I feel like, have an inkling that something is weird going on with their family members. Like, literally every adult except for Adelaide is a vampire. But they don't really know exactly what it is and all of that. So we're going to have to see how the kids find out, if they find out, when they find out, who's going to tell them, etc., etc. So that'll be later on in this video for at least the older kids. So we're just making friends. Then she'll just need to make one more friend that's a child, if we can do that. I mean, next year is Ginevra's birthday, so maybe she'll be able to become friends with Ginevra. It's just not going to happen with Thomas. It's not going to happen. And there are no other kids in our save. Like, the only other kids in our saves are being generated by the game, and I don't really want that. So anyway, I also figured El Rosaria is close. She's friends with Adelaide. She's friends with Thomasina. Martina's the only one left in this group that she's not friends with. So I think we're going to have her become friends with Martine so that she's friends with all of the ladies in the area. Very nice. Our world has gotten so small. Like, do you remember when I was like, oh, we got to cut down the population, blah, blah, blah. But after moving to the new save file and just taking the essential Sims, like, we have really cut down on Sims. So I think that it'll be fun to introduce some new Sims and all of that. So that'll be good. Yep, she's just becoming friends and all of that. Excellent, excellent. Yeah, I hope that like a lot of the mods update quickly. I think that, okay, here's the deal though. Obviously, modders are sent from the heavens to bless us with their craft, and Emil is dying. Hold on, I'll come back to that other conversation. So Emil, he said he left, but he didn't leave, and he just stood outside until he burned to death. And then I was like, what am I going to do? How am I going to fix this? But I can't use MCCC, and then everything is falling apart, and I don't have any mods that can fix this, and I can't bring the ghost into my household. I can't find his children. I can't teleport. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I should not have done this. I should not have played like this. So then I'm trying to control him, but it's not working, and nothing is working, and everything is a disaster. And Emil just died outside our house unexpectedly. Okay, so Emil just died, and I'm trying to get him back. I'm like, can I reverse this? Should I reverse this? And then what am I going to do? Because we don't know his children. Like, they're not in our family bar. Like, did they just get deleted? Have they been yeeted out of the world? What am I going to do? So, yeah, this was the problem that came in from me not having updated any mods before playing this game. I like literally played this game right after the patch came out. So that was my bad. Anyway, so modders are amazing and they are awesome. And as much as I'm like, yes, like I need to update my mods, like, those people need some grace. Like, they're working really hard to get everything done and to do all of the changes. It's a big update, so you know, obviously they should be given some grace by all of us. So when I say that, like, I'm like, oh yeah, like, I need the mods to update quickly, I just mean that I want to play all these awesome things quickly, but I, would never try to rush them. I mean, they do this in their free time, right? So anyway, that's my spiel. So yeah, I was kept trying to get Emil into my household. It just wasn't working. We are a disaster. So there's that. Where are his kids? I don't know. I can't find them. I'm just like, did this really just happen to me that I just lost his children? I went to Adelaide's house. I was hoping maybe she knew them, or I could try the teleporter. But of course it doesn't work because that is one of the mods that broke. So, I think Emil just died and I can't fix it. I mean, I can fix it. So here's the deal. I could fix it, but I don't want to. I don't want to fix it because, sometimes that stuff just happens and that's okay. And so I think that it is also a fun thing that we, have unexpected events like this happen. And so, that's just the way it is. So we are going to just accept it and work it into our story. So, we're pivoting on the fly here, but Emil did just die. So he died, and I have to find his children after I update MCCC, which will happen halfway through this video. So we are going to do that, and we are going to just have everyone here and chatting. And so obviously they're all devastated that Emil died. And of course, especially for Thomas, because he has done all of this stuff that he could in order to save his family, in order to keep his family alive, in order to protect them from death and all of that stuff. And even with all of those efforts of turning them into vampires and all of that stuff, it's still they're dying. Still, he can't stop them from dying. So he's going to come here, of course, and talk to Odelgard about it, because we know our guy is never going to get over her. Poor Elrisaria. She really deserved better. So he is going to talk to Odelgard and basically be telling her about what happened, and that Emil died, and that he's devastated, and all of this stuff. So he is going to talk to her and be like, I've been trying to keep our family alive and save everyone and prevent them from dying, and it's just not happening. It's just not working. Like, no matter what I do, people still die. And she's like, yeah, Thomas, like, people die. That's what happens. Like, you can't prevent every single accident or eventuality. And so that's something that he's still trying to come to terms with, is that it's not something that he can control. And that's really hard for him, because he wants to control it really badly after everything he's been through in his life, and after all of the times his family has died and escaped death, and all of this stuff that's been going on with death and around death. He is having a really hard time coming to terms with the fact that he can't stop it. He can't control it. So that is something that he is still working on, and I think actually that Emil's death is probably going to help him a little bit on this. Like, obviously he's devastated that Emil died, but like, it's gonna, maybe be the start of him being able to accept death a little more, and accept that he can't control everything. So he is going to come home, and he's actually talking with Elrisaria, and she's like, she knows something's wrong. They're best friends. She's like, are you okay? Like, do you want to talk about it? And he's just like, I can't believe I keep losing everyone. I don't know what to do. Like, and he obviously listened to Odelgard's words, but someone can tell you something, and it's not that you can fully understand it right away. Anyway, so this is the part where I was able to get MCCC, and we are going to now grab Emil, put him into another household. I put him into Adelaide's household, but actually I'm going to leave the kids with Thomasina, because she is running the orphanage, and also she's a sister, and she's not dying soon. So I'm going to move the kids in with Thomasina, and she's going to be taking care of them as their aunt. She doesn't want them to be moved around all over the place like her and Emil were when they were children. So she's going to take good care of them. And then, so yeah, basically what I'm saying is that Thomas can try to understand, but he's still like, he needs to talk it out. He needs to think about it more. And El Rosario is also helping him think about that. And she's like, look, you love your family, obviously, and this is just something that we have to work through. Like, it's just the natural way of things. And so she's also helping him work through it. And, I mean, look at El Rosario. She hasn't seen her family in almost a decade. Like, she hasn't seen her brother or her, I don't even remember how Osmi is related to her, to be honest, but she hasn't been able to see any of them. And so that's really hard for her. So it's definitely something that is difficult for everyone to have their family not around or lost or whatever. So that is something that everyone is working through. So we are playing with the baby, of course, because the baby is super cute. And we are going to, for some reason he won't put her in the crib. So, okay, I guess she doesn't have to go in there. Her birthday is next, year, the first day of next year. So we will have our little daughter getting into a toddler, and then that's our last baby. Like, we're not doing this again. And obviously I've made rules that vampire women cannot have children. So, but they don't know that yet. So that's another thing, is like Thomas now knows that vampire men can't have children with human women, but he doesn't know that vampire women can't have children. So that is something that's going to come up later. So anyway, we are going to have the boys' birthday party. Now that we figured out all that stuff with the meal, I mean, can you believe that happened? I was just like, are you kidding me? And then I couldn't do anything about it, and it was just, oh my gosh, it was awful. So anyway, we are going to have everyone come over for the boys' birthdays. They are going to have such a good birthday. They're becoming teenagers. We're going to see how our boys look as teenagers. I mean, who's going to look more like Thomas or more like not Adelaide, but El Rosario, like who's going to, how are they going to look? It's important. So we are going to do the birthday things. We're going to talk with the birthday Sims for 3 hours. We're going to make a group meal, play some music, all that stuff, exciting stuff. So let's get the boys over here to blow out the candles. So we're going to start with Thomas, of course. He is the oldest in the heir. And then we are going to roll for him. And he rolled the active trait. So I think that that's pretty appropriate considering his love of archery and all of that stuff. So he is going to do that. And then we're going to do Dante's birthday next. So Dante is now aging up. And he actually rolled Animal Lover, but then I was like, no, I don't think that fits. And then he rolled Hates Children next. And I thought about how he's not getting married. And I was like, you know what? Maybe he does, have some children out of wedlock, but he doesn't really like children, so he doesn't want to take responsibility for them or something. So we can keep Hates Children for him. Maybe he, has so many younger siblings, and he's seen all the crazy of his family, and he's like, I don't want that. I don't want to have kids. I want to focus on me and my art and all that stuff. So he's going to be more focused on his trajectory. So I gave Thomas the friend of the world aspiration. I think that he's definitely going to want to, take his family to the next level, improve their standing with other Sims and all of that stuff. So I think that he's definitely going to be the person that is going to kind of rise up in the social hierarchy as the patriarch of the family. And then we also have Dante, who I actually gave him the master actor aspiration. And the reason for that is it's something we could do, and I want to do the aspirations. And also, I kind of want Dante to be low-key a co-heir. I'm thinking that with the new pack, we can play them both in separate living accommodations. If we have two living spaces on the same lot with the new for rent pack, and then Thomas and Dante can both be living together and you know, be going up, and we'll like maybe go back and forth a little bit between them. So I think that that could be fun to kind of play the both of them for a little while. Obviously Thomas is the heir, but I think that it'll be a good time, at least while they're young, you know, to play them both. So there's that. And then here is our Thomas. He is a good looking boy. Honestly, both Thomas and Dante, their heads are kind of big. I know that that's just because like teenager bodies are so small, but the heads are like normal size. It's so weird. But yeah, so they both have this like strong jawbone. I don't really think they get that from Thomas. I think it's more El Rosaria that has the like wider face. So here is our Thomas. We're going to give them some facial hair too, obviously. And I think that they are good looking boys. I mean, they look almost identical except for their eye color. So we're going to give them some different looks. Obviously, Thomas is going to have a little bit of a fancier look, so there's that. And Dante is going to be a little more low-key. I think that Dante is really going to try and break the mold. Like, Thomas and Dante are opposites in what they want in life. So they do, you know, like Thomas is going to want to, you know, make their family strong and, you know, find a good wife and do the heir thing. And Dante is going to be like, actually, Mom and Dad, I want to go and be like on the stage, and I'm sure El Rosario is going to hate that. So I think that'll be fun. And then we will just update their pictures. So that's all good. Everyone's going to have some cake and enjoy themselves. Obviously, everyone is still sad about Emil's passing. So I didn't invite Thomasina or anything to the party because I feel like that would be inappropriate. Like, her brother just died. So we are here. Everyone is hysterical. Good thing I have emotional deaths turned off, except some of the things in MCCC are still not really working. Like the auto pay bills didn't work. So I'm just like, okay, everything's fine. Like, maybe my Sims will die. Maybe they won't. But we did get enough of a patch fix. Thank you so much, Detterpool. Like in 24 hours. It was amazing. So enough of that we can play the game, because I really need to get like back to having like a week or two ahead. I need to be ahead because I am literally releasing these videos like this week. Like, I'm 2 days ahead, and I'm not even 2 days ahead because I have to make a video for Friday, Saturday, and Monday before the weekend. So I really need to find a way to get ahead again. Remember when I was like 3 months ahead like, it was wild. I was like 3 months ahead on videos and all of that stuff. But I do like collaborating with you guys, so maybe not too far ahead, maybe just like a week or maybe two, just to give myself some grace when things happen. Like, that I could wait for the mods to update, or that I could, you know, have something happen like with work or with my personal life or whatever, that I didn't have time to do something, and I would still be able to get a video out for you guys. So anyway, so now I switched both of the boys to Truly Accomplished. Obviously, that will be something that is from El Rosaria. She wants her boys to be, you know, good in society. She wants them to be strong, you know, options for being, you know, marriageable and all of that stuff. So that is something that we are going to focus on a bit. So El Rosario is definitely pushing her boys to be, you know, to be accomplished and to be good matches and all of that stuff. So that is why we are going to do this aspiration with the boys before we focus on their aspiration. So I'm hoping, okay, here's what I'm thinking. So the next 2 years, so like 14, well, I guess this year and next year. So through the new decade, we're just going to have them work on the Truly Accomplished aspiration, and that's it. Like, we're not going to have them be doing anything else while Henford on Bagley is still cut off from the world, and before we deal with the Cassian situation, which is what's going to happen in the next year. So we are going to be doing that. And then we'll give them that amount of time to get as accomplished as they can be, and then we'll stop trying to get them to be accomplished. So that'll be good. And yeah, so that's what I'm thinking, is that we will have a cutoff date for that. So Anyway, that's where we're going to wrap up. Obviously, El Rosaria is trying to make sure her boys are perfection, and she is going to love that for them. So that's going to be great. And we are going to then come over here, and we're going to have Thomas and El Rosaria talking about the vampire thing. So El Rosaria is going to be like, the boys are teenagers now. Thomas is working on going to be head of the household. Like, they need to know that we're vampires now that they're old enough. They're definitely old enough to find out the truth about that. So that is what's going on there. We are having them talk about that. And for some reason, my bills didn't get paid. I don't understand it, but that's okay. So they are going to have this conversation that they need to tell the boys the truth about everything and about what they're going to do and about, what we want them to be and all of that stuff. So we are going to also finish Francesca's aspiration. Good for her. She's amazing. I love that for her. So Francesca has just completed her aspiration, and the boys are now going to have a conversation with their parents about vampires. So we are going to have, Martine, you got to get out of here. So yes, they're going to have this conversation, and they're going to be like, kids, like, it's time we told you the truth about what's going on with our family and all of that stuff. And so they're going to tell the boys that we are vampires, and I want you to know that, you too will have the opportunity to become a vampire. Of course, El Rosario is like, but Thomas is basically like, look, you won't be able to have children. You'll be killing someone, so you shouldn't have children. So I want you to think about what you want to do with your future and all of that. And I'm not going to turn you into a vampire right now, but in the future, if you want to become a vampire, I will turn you after you're done, having kids and everything. And so that is what's going on there. I think that, Dante will get a little more leeway in this. Like, if Dante really doesn't want kids, then I'm sure Thomas would turn him, so long as Thomas has a child first. So we can see where that goes. He's definitely not going to let Thomas turn into a vampire until he has got, the line of succession is secure. But the boys have a little less leeway than the girls, because obviously the girls aren't really carrying on the family name. We have 2 boys. We should be able to at least get some kids out of one of them. So there's that. And now we're just going to update Emil III. He is a toddler, and I was thinking about changing his hair color, but you know what? You're fine. You can have your dad's hair color. And so there we go. Yeah, he has his dad's hair and his dad's eyes and his mom's complexion. So he's so cute. And we are going to wrap up there. We'll have a recap video, and then in the one after that, we will be moving on to the new decade and dealing with all of the crazy stuff that has been going on that we started in the last decade. So I hope you're excited, and I'll catch you then.